All right. So what we're going to do is start with your first clip. Everybody find your extreme wide shot and double click it. That will open your extreme wide shot in the source window. Think of the source window as your raw footage. Okay, anything you filmed or shot and imported into Premiere, it will show up in the source window if you double click the clip. Okay, so you can see the whole thing. I can scrub through with my playhead, which is this yellow tag, and I can go through my clip. Again, the orange numbers tell me where I'm at in the clip. Right now I'm at 8 seconds and 22 frames. And again, as a reminder, there's 30 frames in a second, so I'm almost to 9 seconds where I'm at right now. The other numbers that you see here, let me make this a little bigger. These white numbers, those are the duration. Okay, so this clip in its entirety is 16 seconds and 15 frames, which means it's 16 and a half seconds. So this particular clip that Ashaya happened to shoot is 16 and a half seconds long, I can see by that number. What I want to do is I want to choose the best 7 seconds. That's what editing is. Editing is where you go through your clips and you remove the garbage and you choose the good stuff. So I want to choose the best 7 seconds. So what I do is at the start I push play. The space bar will also push play. And I get past the bumps. Usually you'll have a few bumps at the start because you bump your camera when you push record. Okay, once I'm past the bumps, I want to tell it that that's where I want the clip to start. That's called your endpoint. The place that the clip starts is called your endpoint. You can set the endpoint 2 ways. You can push I on your keyboard. It's easy to remember because I stands for in. So wherever I've got my playhead, the orange tag in the source window, wherever that's at, and I push I, that will set my endpoint. Yes, question?
When I play the space bar that plays, it's like super out of focus, but then when it stops, it's in focus.
Okay, what that is the quality setting. To speed up so your computer can play the video faster, there's a setting right here. I assume yours says half. For those of you that didn't hear, the question was, why does my video look out of focus when I play it? Why does it look fuzzy? Then when I push stop, it looks clear. If it's like that, that doesn't mean you filmed it wrong. That just is, it's playing it back at a lesser quality. You see this right here where it says half? It's playing it back at half quality. It does that for the sake of processor speed. If you want to see it at full quality, click that drop down and change it to full. Now when you do this, your computer, depending on how fast your computer is or how many programs are running, it might be choppy, so you have to try it out. So go ahead and push play, and if it seems to play just fine, then you can leave it on full quality. If it plays slow or it's choppy or it's bogging things down, you may want to change it back to half quality so that you can preview your clips at a faster rate. Does that make sense? So if you're seeing that, if it looks fuzzy, then it's because you've got it on half quality. You can click and change it to full quality. But bear in mind it may be choppy when you do that. If it is, then you might want to go back to half quality. Okay? I'll leave mine on full quality because it seems to be going okay. All right, again, so setting that endpoint, you put the cursor wherever you want it to set. If you need to be real precise, you can move 1 frame at a time, left or right, with your left and right arrows. And then you push I on your keyboard for in. Or the other way to set your endpoint is this button right here. In your source window, do you see that little bracket? If you hover over it, by the way, if you hover over any of these buttons, a little thing will pop up and tell you what the button does. But if you hover over the mark in, it will say mark in, and you can click that. That's another way to set your endpoint. The keyboard shortcut is I, not Command I, don't get confused. It's just I. Or the button on your screen is this mark in button. You click that. Now if you'll look at just below your video here in your source window, they've got a little timeline thing. The dark gray is stuff that's been removed from your video. The orange bracket is where your video is starting. Okay, so that's our in point. That's where the video is going to start. Then the lighter gray, all that stuff is still in our video. So you'll notice now that we set an in point, you'll notice the duration now changed. My duration was originally 16.5 seconds. It's now 12 seconds and 20 frames. Okay, we want exactly 7 seconds, but we want the best 7 seconds we can get. So go to your in point and push play and just watch it. If there's no major bumps, then after about 7 seconds you can push stop. Spacebar will push stop, or you can click on the stop button right here. And then you set your out point. The out point is where the clip is going to end, where you want the clip to end. So you can say, so in point, just to remember, is where the clip starts. Out point is where it ends. We set our out point by pushing O on the keyboard. Or you can push the out button, the mark out button in your source monitor. Okay? Now you'll notice that there's an orange bracket on the left. That's where my clip starts. There's an orange bracket on the right. That's where my clip ends. And you can check your duration. And this is pure luck. I don't know how this happened, but mine is exactly 7 seconds long. Usually you won't get it exactly 7 seconds long. If yours isn't exactly 7 seconds long, hover over your out point, click and drag it, and you can change the duration. So you want to drag that to the right if it needs to be longer, to the left if it needs to be shorter, and make it exactly 7 seconds. So what we're looking for in our edit is that we get the best 7 seconds. So we're looking that the duration is 7 seconds long, and we're looking that we don't have any major camera mistakes in those 7 seconds. To preview just your 7 seconds, one second, how do you preview just your 7 seconds? Right here. Sorry, I gotta make mine bigger so you can see it. Don't worry about previewing just your 7 seconds for right now, because I can't get it to work. I'll show you some other time. But now that you have your in and out point set so that your clip's exactly 7 seconds, you now put this in your timeline. You can do this one of two ways. You can click and drag your video straight to the timeline. I would put it on V1. Make sure you bump it right at the start because it's your first clip, and let go. Now you'll see your clip in your program window. Okay? So in your sequence, in your timeline, if you push play, you'll see that clip play right here at the end of 7 seconds. It will go to black because there's nothing else after it yet. That's one way to put it in. The other way to put it in is make sure your playhead in the timeline is where you want it to be. In our case right now, we want it to be at the very start. So drag it to the very start, and then get your clip from the source monitor, click it, and drag it to the program window. You'll notice it pops up this little insert button. Let go, and it will put it on your track for you. Okay, you should all have your first clip in there. If you don't, help your neighbor put your first clip in there and make sure they're 7 seconds long. And make sure that it's the correct clip. If you need help, ask for help. Or if you're watching this online, go back and watch the video again and push pause as needed.